Hello, and thank you for listening to Your Credit Matters. I'm your host, Ronnie Lambeth, certified FICO credit professional, bringing to you each and every day with the banks, the credit bureaus, and the collection companies what I think they don't want you to know, what I think they want to keep you in the dark about. Because if they keep you in the dark, they keep you confused, uneducated about your credit score, about the real estate market, about your finances. Quite simple, they make more money. And that's what it's all about, money. Not for you and me, but if you're a bank or an insurance company, that's what drives you. That's what you're doing it for. Make no mistake, bankers are not your friends. Yes, we need the banks, but if you do not have good credit, they're making so much more money off of you. In fact, they make close to 26 to 28 times more profit from people who have bad credit than people have good credit. And the reason for that is they can charge more fees. They can charge you for a checking account. They can charge you to use their Visa debit card. They can charge you extra interest. Not only extra interest, but you're going to pay more for groceries, gas, clothing, rent, mortgage with a bad credit score. So let's dedicate 2012 to getting you back on track. It's time to recover. It's time to stop making excuses, and let's get you back up into the 700s. Let's get you a 740 credit score. Let's use that as a goal this year. It's January 2nd, 2012, and I want your goal to be you're going to hit 740 this year, and we can do it together, and I'm here to help you. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to my website. It's askrondi.com, AskRondi.com. That's askrondi.com. I want you to click on the button to the right of my video that says download the free copy of my book. I want you to download that. I want you to follow the instructions. If you have credit issues, if you have a bankruptcy on your credit, or maybe a foreclosure or a tax lien or a judgment, collection, follow the book step by step, and you got a good chance of getting those items removed from your credit report, because the Fair Credit Report Act of 1971 dictates what the banks and the collection companies and credit bureaus must do. And as you know, if you've listened to the show, they almost never follow the law. And because of that, you can get the items removed. Now, if you don't want to do it yourself, or if you want a credit audit from me or my staff, if you need some help, give me a call. Number's 888-900-3678. That's 888-900-3678. If you call tonight during the show, just leave a message and I'll call you back. I'll sit down with you. We'll go over your credit report. We'll come up with a game plan, step by step, move by move. Go from a 400 credit score to a 700 credit score. We can do it. You know, it's not going to be overnight. You know, these commercials that you see on TV, you hear them on XM radio. I heard one last week. Guaranteed 740 credit score in the next 14 days. That's a bunch of garbage. It's illegal. It violates the Credit Repair Organizational Act. They're criminals. They can guarantee it all day long, but it's illegal for them to do it. It's not as simple as just writing a letter and getting it fixed. It takes time and effort. You know, we had a client hire us in November, and he lives in La Jolla. His name is Trey, and Trey sent me an email today. We just deleted 2 tax liens from his credit report, $16,000 tax liens. The same tax liens that last month Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion said they were not going to remove it, that they verified it to be correct, and they weren't going to remove it. Well, here we are, a month later, and guess what? It's gone. No more tax liens. Means he can go out and buy a house now, provide for his family in a way that he wasn't able to before because of this $16,000 tax lien. His credit scores, I haven't looked at it yet. I'm assuming it's probably up by 100 points. I'm hoping it is, and it should be. So if you have a tax lien or a judgment or a foreclosure or a short sale, anything like that, and you need help getting that removed, give me a call. Again, that number is 888-900-3678. It's 888-900-3678. Or simply go to the website, askrondi.com. That's RONDI.com. AskRondi.com. When you're at the site, watch the videos, watch the testimonials, click on the actual results. These are real live people. Those are real results that you see on the website. They're not photoshopped. Yes, we blank out their names. Yes, we blank out the personal information, but they're real people just like you. People like you that had credit issues. People like you that maybe got laid off, got a divorce, somebody got sick. Your house was upside down. People like you that needed a second chance. And that's what this is all about, is giving you a second chance to help you provide for your family in a way that you've always wanted to but couldn't because of the credit problem. So go to the website, AskRondi.com. That's AskRondi.com. Up next, we're going to talk about hangovers. Hello, and thank you for listening to Your Credit Matters. I'm your host, Ronnie Lambeth, certified FICO credit professional, author and speaker, and your local credit expert, bringing to you each and every day what I think the banks, the credit bureaus, collection companies, what they don't want you to know, what they don't want you to know about that three-digit number that literally impacts every area of your life. It impacts every man, woman, and child in America. Even my grandson at 3 months old is impacted by credit scores. Let me explain how. You see, fortunately for Caden, his parents, or my daughter, has excellent credit. Now, she's only 19 years old. So how can she have excellent credit and high 700 credit scores at 19 years old? Well, it's very easy. What I did was, when she was younger, I added her to my credit cards. And by me adding her to my credit cards, she got all of my credit history on her credit report. See, and then that showed that she's had credit cards open for years when really she hasn't. And it gave her a jump start. Now, how does it impact Caden's life? Well, the way it impacts Caden's life is because his mom has good credit, she was able to rent an apartment on her own. Now, she is married, but her husband, unfortunately, does not have good credit because he's only 19, and his parents did not do the same thing I did for Toya. Luckily for Caden, Toya's got good credit. Toya's able to get an apartment. She was also able to get utilities in her name. Now, her friends that also have young children had to put $500 to $600 down as a deposit to get an apartment in the same area as her because they didn't have credit. And so they had to come up with an extra $500 where Toya did not have to. And because Toya did not have to come up with an extra $500 for her utilities, for her and her husband's and Caden's new apartment, that gave them more money for Christmas. It gave them more money for groceries and diapers and bottles. See, that's how it impacts every man, woman, and child in America. Is because if your parents have more money, because they have good credit, most likely you can have a better life. Or at least you should be able to have a better lifestyle. And that's why it's so important to have good credit. Now, earlier before the break, we were talking about hangovers. Do you have a hangover right now on January 2nd, 2012? Do you have a financial hangover from spending too much money during the Christmas season? I hope you don't. I hope you didn't go out like most people and overindulge and spend a bunch of extra money. Spend money on a bunch of garbage that your kids probably won't remember a couple months from now. And it's unfortunate. That's how the media works. They convince us. It seems like every year it starts earlier and earlier. I think this year it started like in the end of August. They were promoting Christmas season. But they convince that's what Christmas is about. And you and I both know it's not. And we get sucked into it. You know, I nearly got sucked into it this year. And fortunately for me, I had a budget. I had my budget. Michelle and I went to Mexico and we spent our budget. And we came home with no money, but we came home with a car full of stuff that we bought for my kids. Now, what we did with the majority of the money is I paid to have my kids come stay with me for a week in La Jolla, and we spent quality time together. See, that they're going to remember most likely the rest of their life. They're going to remember staying in a apartment right on the beach in La Jolla. See, that money was well spent versus me getting them some knickknacks or trinkets or stuff. Now, getting knickknacks and trinkets is good, but don't overspend. Do yourself a favor, pay that off as soon as possible. If you've overspent and you have a financial hangover, the best thing for that hangover is to get rid of the debt as fast as possible. Now, there's a couple ways you can get rid of the debt. You can pay it off. You can file bankruptcy. I don't want you to file bankruptcy. I want you to pay off the debt. But if you are facing a financial situation that you cannot afford to pay, that is physically and emotionally draining you, it's causing you to have financial problems, it's causing you to have emotional problems, it's causing you to have marital problems, you're stressed out, you owe yourself a favor to call Sean Doan. Give Sean a call, set up a time to meet with him, and go over your options. Go over your options to find out what bankruptcy can do for you. He's got other options too, but his number is 760-716-2716. Now, this is Sean's personal cell phone. You rarely get an attorney's personal cell phone or a doctor's personal cell phone. But this is an emergency. Don't call Sean just to chew the fat. Don't call Sean just to, talk. Call him because you're having financial issues. You have financial problems and you need help. Again, that number 760-716-2716. That's 760-716-2716. Sean's a personal friend of mine. Sean cares about people like you and families like yours. He's helped over 35,000 people here in California, him and his family. He's helped over 35,000 people get out of debt. And that's the fastest way to cure that hangover, is to get out of debt. So if you can pay it back, pay it back. But if you overspent for Christmas, obviously it's not from just Christmas, but you overdid it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Give Sean a call. Again, that number 760-716-2716. Or you can call me. Give me a call. You can call me anytime. I'm here to talk to you. In fact, I have a lot of listeners that just call to see how things are going. And if I have time, we can talk for a while. My number is 888-900-3678. That's 888-900-3678. Or simply go to the website, askrondy.com. That's askrondy.com. Go there. Send me an email. If you got a question regarding credit, real estate, finances, insurance, getting out of debt, investing, ask me. Again, that's askrondy.com. AskRondi.com. You're listening to Your Credit Matters, heard Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 7, right here on K-Praise, and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Hello, and thank you for listening to Your Credit Matters. I'm your host, Ronnie Lambeth, certified FICO credit professional, author and speaker, and your local credit expert, bringing to you each and every day right here on K-Praise at 6:30 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Bringing to you what I think the banks and the credit bureaus and the collection companies, the mainstream media, what they don't want you to know about your finances, about the real estate market, about your credit score, and how important that 3-digit number is to your life and how it impacts every area of your life. I read a study recently, and it said that 8 out of 10 lifestyle decisions, 80% of your lifestyle decisions came down to your credit score. And if you have poor credit, it's costing you, on average, $4,200 a year. That's $350 a month because you have poor credit, because of what could be mistakes. 66%, that's right, 66% of all identity theft almost 7 out of 10 times, is a direct result of the credit bureaus and the banks making a mistake because they merged two files together. See, there's so much data going across the internet, they can't keep it separate. So if you have a common name or even an uncommon name, if the credit bureaus merge that together with someone else, their bad credit could be on your credit report. Now, I know what you're thinking. I know what the banks have said, and I know what the gurus have said, and what you've read, that it has to do with your social security number, and they can't just throw stuff on your credit report without a social security number. That's not true. That's not true at all. In fact, there was a case, it's Baker versus White. I'm sorry, that's White versus Experian. It was Baker v. Experian, where Kenneth Baker tried for nearly 18 months to get another Ken Baker information removed from his credit report, and he couldn't because Experian did not want to lose that revenue that was coming in. See, for every item that's on your credit report, the bureaus make money. So if you have 9 collections that are on there, and they're not supposed to be, they're supposed to be on a different Ken Baker's credit report, then Experian is double dipping. They're charging for the original Ken Baker, and they're charging for you, the Ken Baker. And so they can double and triple and quadruple their profits by merging the files. And the banks are okay with this because that drives people's credit scores down. In fact, it's nearly 75 million Americans right now. 75 million have something on their credit report that would keep them from getting a job, keep them from being able to qualify for a home or a car loan at reasonable rates. 75 million. See, the more they report inaccurately, the more money they can make. And so that's why you can lose $350 a month. That's a car payment. You could be driving right now a brand new Lexus, leasing it at $350 a month or less if you had good credit and not cost yourself any more money. Think about that. It's how much you could be losing if you don't know what's on your credit, if you have mistakes. So back to Kenneth Baker. He had mistakes. It wasn't under the Social Security number. It was actually under Ken Baker. And for 18 months, he fought with Experian to get it removed. 18 months of humiliation, 18 months of shame and embarrassment caused him to go into a deep depression. His family couldn't understand why they couldn't move into a house. Took away his dignity and ultimately cost him his life. You know, I wouldn't make up this story. This is a true story. Heartbreaking. You know, I think there was 4 or 5 families in San Diego last year, 2011, that killed themselves over financial problems and credit problems. It's a big deal. It's close to 12,000 people a year file lawsuits against the credit bureaus for the similar things. 12,000. What about the other 75 million that just don't know any better? Or they give up because they think that it can't be fixed. They don't know where to go. So if that's you and you need some help with your credit, feel free to pick up the phone and give me a call. My number is 888-900-3678. See, I think if Kenneth Baker was able to listen to this radio show, I think he'd still be here. A father would still be here with his children. A wife would still have her husband. I think it's unfortunate that he killed himself over a credit score, but he didn't see any other option. He thought that was the only way he was going to be able to provide a house for his family. He couldn't deal with the embarrassment and humiliation of having a bad credit. You might not think that's a big deal, but let me ask you a question. If I come up to you and I ask you what your credit score is, there's only 2 responses I get from people. They either drop their head and they make up excuses about why it's not good, or they instantly say it's a 740 or 760. And most of the time, the people drop their head because they don't know what it is, or they know how bad it is. And you've heard me say it on the show over and over again, and I'm going to say it again. Bad credit is a choice. You can have good credit if you choose to have good credit. It's not going to happen overnight, but you can choose to fix it. Federal law requires the credit bureaus and the banks to only report accurate information. And if it's not 100% accurate, they can't legally leave it on your credit report. And I have news for you. 100% of all credit reports are inaccurate. 100%. Because the credit bureaus and the banks are always 30 to 60 days behind. There's not a single credit report out there that's accurate. Now, does that mean that you can get anything removed from your credit report? No, that means you can only get inaccurate, erroneous, or obsolete. But if you have a foreclosure, like the listener I talked to this morning, she had 3 foreclosures and we got 2 of them removed so far. 2 of them were reporting the wrong opening dates. Yes, she had the foreclosures. It is accurate she had a foreclosure. That's not what the law says. The law doesn't say if you had a foreclosure, you can't get it removed. No, it says if the banks and the credit bureaus report the foreclosure, it has to be reported accurately. And if there's one little mistake in the way they're reporting it, it is illegally posted and you can get it removed. And if you understand how to get it removed, it's actually pretty easy. You know, we do it for thousands of people every year. Change and impact thousands of lives. Put people in homes and cars that they would never have been able to get before. Let their kids go to the finest schools. Live in a safe neighborhood because they made a choice to no longer have bad credit. If you have credit issues, you need help, give me a call. 888-900-3678. It's 888-900-3678, or simply go to my website, askrondy.com. Again, that's askrondy.com. AskRondi.com. You've been listening to Your Credit Matters. I'm your host, Rondy Lambeth, certified FICO credit professional and your local credit expert. Bringing you the truth each and every day right here on K-Praise at 6:30 p.m. to 7, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Bringing you the truth. And it's the truth that's going to set you free.